A young couple married just a couple of weeks comes from their honeymoon to face the beginning of their new lives. The next morning, the husband wakes up, showers, dresses, makes his way to the kitchen, and he sees his wife bawling her eyes out. And he says, "What's wrong, honey?" She goes, "Well, I came down this morning to surprise you with a big breakfast, but I can't cook or clean." And the husband smiled, and he goes, There, sweetie. Don't you worry. You can't cook and clean. Come on, let's go to the bedroom. I'll show you what I'd like for breakfast." So they went back to the bedroom. Well, that afternoon, the husband comes for lunch, and he finds the wife crying again in the kitchen. "Is this you, Luna?" "I think it." "What's wrong now, sweetie?" "Well, same thing as this morning. I came in here to make you something for lunch, but I just can't cook." And again, the husband smiles, and he goes, "Why don't you come back? I'll have my lunch there." So off they went to the bedroom again. That night, the new husband comes home, walks in the house, and sees his new bride naked, sliding down the banister. She runs up, down the banister. After the third trip, the husband goes, "What are you doing, honey?" She goes, "I'm warming up your supper, dear."
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I better clean that banister is all I can say. So a lawyer and two friends, a rabbi and a Hindu, they had car trouble on the countryside, and they asked to spend the night with this farmer. And the farmer said, "There might be a problem. You see, I only got room for two to sleep, so one of you's got to sleep in that barn." "Oh, that's no problem," says the rabbi. "My people wandered the desert. I'm humble enough to sleep in a barn." And he departed, and the others bedded down. But minutes later, there's a knock at the door, and the farmer opens it, and there's the rabbi. And he goes, "What the hell's wrong?" And the rabbi says, "I'm grateful to you, but I cannot sleep in the barn. There's a pig in the barn, and my faith, believes that it's an unclean animal." So his Hindu friend, he agrees he'll go out, swap places. But a few minutes later, same scene reoccurs. Knock on the door. "What's wrong now?" asks the farmer. Hindu goes, "I am too grateful for your helping us out, but there is a cow in the barn. In my country, cows are considered sacred, and I cannot sleep on holy ground." Well, that leaves just the lawyer to make the change. So he grumbled and complained, but he went out to the barn. But, knock, 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 knock. Minutes later, frustrated and tired by now, the farmer opens the door, and there stood the pig and the cow.
We're not sharing that farm with this asshole. We got standards.
Hey, if you need to wrap up, tell me to stop. But got a few more.
Oh,
all right,
go, absolutely go. Yeah.
All right, old farmer got pulled over by a young state trooper for speeding, and the trooper, fresh on the job, he decided to throw his weight around a bit and start lecturing this farmer about his speed. He did his best to make the farmer feel uncomfortable, but eventually he got around to writing the ticket, and as he wrote, he had to swat all these flies buzzing around his head. "You having problems with circle flies?" asked the farmer. The trooper stopped writing and looks up and goes, "Well, yeah, if that's what they are. Never heard of circle flies, though." Farmer goes, "Oh, yeah, they're pretty common on farms. We call them circle flies because they're always circling around the back end of holes." "I see," says the trooper. Keep on writing that ticket. Well, all of a sudden he stops writing and he looks up and he goes, "Hey, wait a minute, are you trying to call me a horse's ass?" "Oh, no, officer," says the farmer. "I got far too much respect for law enforcement and police officers to even think about calling you a horse's ass." "That's a good thing," says the trooper, and writing the ticket. But after a long pause, the farmer goes, "It's really hard to fool them flies, though."
That's great.
Little Timmy here in his parents' bedroom, so he pushes open the door and finds his dad on top of his mom going at it. They both look at Timmy, but they finish what they're doing anyhow. And when they finish, Dad says he'll take care of it. He goes to Timmy's room, opens up the door, and he finds Timmy on top of Grandma. And Dad's like, "Timmy, what the hell are you doing?" Timmy says, "Yeah, I'm funny when it's your mother now, is it?"
Oh my goodness.
Two men arrive at the pearly gates at about the same time. They both want to know if they're going to get into heaven, and St. Peter asks the first where he's from, what he did in life, and the man says he's John Smith. He's a taxi driver in New York City. So St. Peter looks through his book, and then he gives the man a luxurious silken robe and staff and bids him welcome into heaven, eternal reward. And then St. Peter asked the second man the same questions. And he says his name is Thomas O'Malley, that he was a Catholic priest in Chicago. St. Peter looks in his book, and then he gives him a cotton robe, a wooden staff, and bids him to enter heaven for his eternal reward. And Father O'Malley says, wait a minute. Why'd the taxi driver get a silken robe and a golden staff, while I, a Catholic priest, a man of God, get a cotton robe and a wooden staff? St. Peter told him that the rewards in heaven are based on results. And while Father O'Malley preached, people slept. But while John Smith drove, people prayed. I had the ride from hell in New York City one time with a taxi cab driver. I was running late to get a train, and that guy was going 65 miles an hour down the streets of New York City. I mean, going through red lights and everything. It was scary, so I understand this joke totally. So a young woman brings her fiancé home to meet, and after dinner tells the young man, fiancé, to study. He goes, so what are your plans? Well, I'm a Torah scholar, he says. A Torah scholar, He says, that's admirable, but what will you do to provide nice house for my daughter, like she's accustomed to? The guy says, I will study and God will provide for us. Well, how are you going to buy her a engagement ring like she deserves, says the father. I will concentrate on my studies, the young man says. God will provide for us. Well, what about children? How will you support children? Oh, don't worry, sir, he says. God will provide. Well, it keeps on going like that, and each time the father asks questions, the young idealist insists God's going to provide for them. Later, the mom says, well, how'd it go, honey? And the father says, he's got no job, no plans. But the good news is he thinks I'm God. One day at a local buffet, a man suddenly calls out, my son's choking, he swallowed a quart of help, please, anyone help. And a man from a nearby table stood up, announced he was quite experienced at this, steps over with almost no look of concern, wraps his hands around the boy's gonads and squeezed. And out popped a quarter, and the man went back to his table like nothing. Oh, thank you, says the father. Are you a paramedic? And the man says, no, the IRS.
Yeah, I know how to squeeze money out of people.
All right, my last one for the night, boys and girls. Traveling ventriloquist on the road in between jobs decided to practice his craft before his next show, and he stopped at a farmhouse and approached the farmer who lived there. Hey there, Mr. Farmer, I was just passing by and I was wondering if I might speak to your dog. And the farmer says, well, you know dogs don't talk. And the ventriloquist said, you'd be surprised what a dog might tell you. Can I speak with him? And the farmer eyes the ventriloquist suspiciously, calls his dog over and goes, The guy goes, hi there, Mr. Dog, says the ventriloquist. How does this farmer treat you? And the dog says, oh, he's great. He throws a stick for me, scratches my belly, and I just love him. And needless to say, the farmer's dumbfounded. He wanted to see if he could fool. And the ventriloquist asked if he could speak with the farmer's horse. Well, you know horses don't talk, he says. You'd be surprised, the ventriloquist says, what a horse might tell you. So the farmer brought out his horse, and he, say, Mr. Horse, how does the farmer treat you? And the horse says, oh, I think he's great. He feeds me oats. He puts a blanket on me at night. I love him. And again, the farmer's just amazed. Wanting to try his luck a third time, the ventriloquist says, Mr. Farmer, would you like to hear what sheep has to say? And the farmer's, well, sheep lie, you know. That's it.
Okay, give it up for one.